welcome back to B-Side Banter. This is episode 21. I am here with two returning guests. If you were listening to some early episodes, you all know Honeybee Reviews. He's been on a couple times. Also, we've got Mike T, or the real Mike T, which is on your socials. Basically, we're here. We're going to hang out because it's kind of the middle of the year, and we're going to reflect a little bit on what are some great albums that came out? What are some albums we're excited to see? What are some albums that were really, really bad? All of that fun stuff. We're going to do a little bit of a half year kind of checkup, maybe. So super glad to have you guys back on the pod. And yeah, we can get rolling into this.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, let's just start right here with the positive. We're halfway through, or I don't know if this is actually halfway, but we're basically halfway. What are some of the most exciting moments that you guys thought happened in the music world so far in 2025?
I'll say for me, the first thing was surprisingly the Grammys this year. Which, you know, I've always had my issues with the Grammys. There's always been the ups and downs. But this was like the first year, at least I think in my time of watching the show in like 15 years, where I think they got, at least in the main categories, almost everything close to right. Like there wasn't a one decision there that made me go, oh yeah, no, why? Really? Like album of the year, Beyonce, valid. Best new artist, Chaperone, valid. Doechii winning best rap album. Sabrina winning for the huge track that she had. Yeah, it just seemed like everything was spot on, which was like weird. It felt weird because the Grammys never seem to really get it right.
And they're not supposed to get it right, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to mess it all up. Well, it's funny that you say that about Beyonce, because there were so many people that were mad. Not that she won, well, maybe that she won album of the year, but that she won country album of the year. And the Grammys actually like came out with a new category.
Yeah, the new category.
So I guess maybe if you're like a big country fan, which I don't think any of us are, that would be your gripe with the Grammys. But I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think Cowboy Carter is a country album. Sure, it like blends other genres together, but generally, it, at least compared to everything else that was nominated in that category that year, there were some other albums that I wouldn't even consider country, like the Casey Musgraves album, barely country.
Yeah.
And while like the Post Malone record, I guess it's country technically, but it's like the lowest form of country music. So
yeah, it's that stuff that I hate about country right now. That pop country, like, ugh. Anyway,
bro country.
Yeah, bro country. So what about you, Honeybee?
One thing that, I mean, for sure, for me, it was Cardi finally dropping music. It was exciting at the time, just because the rollout one took forever. It was so long, so there was a built-up anticipation for that. We had the surprise Kendrick feature, which he kind of just continued the crazy run that he has been on. Now, whether that album is still exciting is definitely up for debate. But the release, I think, in the music industry and as fans of music, I think everybody at least lended an ear to tap into the album a little bit, just out of curiosity, or obviously he has his cult following too that loved it. But I thought that was a pretty exciting moment of 2025. What do you guys think of that album now that it's been however many 3 or 4 months?
I forgot about it, honestly.
Me too.
It came and went for me. I think I really don't think anyone other than Cardi's core fan base really cared much about that record. I mean, it's 30 tracks long, man. And it felt like the only Cardi album where he wasn't bringing anything new to the table.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah, it is like, honestly, when you started saying like this exciting moment, Cardi dropping music, I was like, oh yeah, that was this year.
I forgot that happened.
I was like, shoot. But like, it was an exciting moment. I totally get what you're saying there. It was super exciting because it was so long in the waiting for it, and then it dropped. But yeah, I definitely have not listened to it at all since it dropped.
neither have I.
I've got
think
one
the
other one that is
Yeah.
has a little bit more staying power in my opinion. So Black Country New Road's newest album, Forever How Long, that was a very exciting moment for me when they dropped that, because they have had such an interesting path as a band where literally days before the release of their breakthrough album, Ants From Up There, their lead singer Isaac Wood stepped away from the band. And then they released a live album in 2023, which were like some songs that they had already worked on that they wanted to put out into the world, but didn't really want to do like an official recording for. So this Forever How Long album was really like the first studio album without Isaac Wood. And so we were all kind of just waiting to see what it would sound like. And it was totally different, entirely female sung, female written, only the female members of the band contributing in that way, and which they had never done anything like that before. And the writing was great, and the album still is one of the best of the year. So for me, that was a very exciting moment that I'm still excited about, honestly.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was really surprised that the group had that much like vocal talent and writing talent outside of Isaac, and they never really like utilized it before. But yeah, they're definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. And the production on that album is just as fantastic. The horn work just fantastic as it always is. So I was very happy that Black Country New Road was still putting out great stuff. I feel like the album got a little bit like underappreciated.
I agree.
Year. I know, I get it's no like Ants From Up There, but it's still really good.
Yeah, it's one of the best of the year. I think that's a testament what you said though of how incredible Isaac Wood's vocals are, right?
Yeah.
Like that they weren't even really using the other vocals from the band members, which
and he also has
they
like
probably should have and would have, but
and he also has like a specific songwriting style that is it's just a lot different. It's weird.
Totally
it's
different.
a weird songwriting style.
Yeah, it is. It was a really interesting moment because the band had to totally pivot. They had to reinvent themselves, and I don't think very often does that happen in a as positive of a way. Like especially when you think about bands like losing frontmen for sure or front women. Like that's a really tough thing to come back from.
Yeah, it's a big
deal.
deal.
I think it was huge deal. So I think it was definitely a really cool moment. What like if we're talking about re-listenability, are you guys still listening to that album?
Yeah. I've came back to it a few times.
Absolutely.
Select tracks for sure.
Yeah, there's some select tracks that I love, and every once in a while I'll throw on the whole album and do a front to back listen. But there's a few songs that are in my rotation always.
Yeah, that's key. That re-listenability. It's sometimes albums are you're like, this album was great, and then you're like, I haven't listened to that in months. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
and the other thing about them, kind of shameless plug here, but when I did an interview with them earlier this year,
I saw you interview them. I was so jealous.
It was really cool. Jealous. It was a lot of fun. And I mentioned to them how I thought it was so cool that it was like an obvious choice that they decided to do all female-led vocals, all female written, and they were like, actually it just kind of happened. Like it wasn't even a conscious choice. It's just something that happened. And to me, that is a testament of just how innovative they are. Like they get together and they're deliberate about what they do, but the way that they reinvent their sound over and over and over, it blows my mind. Like there's no band right now is doing that like them.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was shameless plug to you. That was a really cool interview. So
yeah, it was a sick. Definitely watch it if you haven't.
Yeah, I would say if I were to think of like an exciting moment, definitely I think of Kendrick Lamar at the halftime show. Super
Glad
Bowl.
you mentioned that. I was going to bring it up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say not even just the Super Bowl, which was great, but just like the whole GNX tour in general. I don't know if you guys got the chance to go if they were in your city, but
I wish.
It was one of the best shows I ever saw, for sure. So yeah, just the whole success of that tour has just been really awesome. It's cool to see Kendrick as a rapper, and SZA as well, obviously. But headlining a stadium, it's a rare occurrence. So
a double headliner is always like a treat.
Absolutely. It's pretty crazy how they set it up. I was talking to a girl, Maya is her name. I had her on the podcast, and shameless plug. No, I'm just, but I was talking to her. She
Mike,
said
you're
that
next.
yeah, Mike, you gotta go. I was just saying, like, we were talking about it because she was like, I love Kendrick, going to a show, and I was like, cool. And she's like, we were talking about it. She's like, yeah, I've been 11 times, and I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I met her at the New Jersey show.
Oh
I know
yeah,
she went to
that's
like
awesome.
all of them.
Yeah, she went to basically the whole tour. I was like,
she
this
went
is
to 11
crazy.
stops on this tour? That's
Yeah,
what you're
Yeah,
saying?
dude, she
Oh
said
my
she went to
gosh.
so many to the point SZA hit her up and was like, "I see you at every every show."
yeah.
No
Isn't
way.
that wild?
That's
She
cool.
was all of them. I like so crazy. But I really do think, like, unfortunately for me, it just didn't work out. I was tempted to go to Atlanta, but it just didn't work out. That was the closest to me. But yeah, it just kind of goes to show how big of a cultural moment that was and is. And it's the culmination of everything that's been happening with him. We talked about it, Jake, on one of our previous episodes, of just how, like, he's on this crazy rise, and it's like, when's he gonna reach the peak? When's it gonna be kind of done? What is happening? And it's like, it just keeps going.
I mean, it's hard to think of another rapper who had like a big of a year ever than him. There's very few, and I think in the history of the genre that you can. I think he's in the elite category of like prolific years.
I mean,
Yeah.
how could he even have a better year, right?
I
Like, his
don't know.
album did great numbers wise. He did a headliner tour, like a stadium tour. He did the Super Bowl,
One of the biggest
and
rap beef of the century.
against like the biggest commercial rapper in history. Like, how does it get better, right? Like, maybe if him and Keem put out an album later this year, like at the end of the year, him and
or him and
Keem
SZA
do
collab album, hopefully, maybe.
yeah, like that's
point.
the only, like, that would be
Yeah.
the cherry on top, which I know it's a pipe dream, but it's pretty incredible, and it is so cool. Like, hip hop, just like the genre itself, puts a fire underneath every artist of every genre. Like, it just feels like it. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but like, when the hip hop genre, when it is really bumping, like, it just feels like everything is elevated somehow.
Yeah, I think I kind of see what you're saying. Like, when there's some really big cultural moments happening, it kind of infuses itself everywhere. Like, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's like, the excitement levels in everything is rising, is kind of going up. Yeah.
I wonder if that would happen if it was, like in the pop genre, which is like the most popular genre, probably. If something like this happened in that genre, what would the effects of that be on other artists from other genres around the world?
It's hard to even like know what, like, I think rap is just like, hip hop is just so unique in the sense that, like, no other genre really has beefs like this. Like,
It's so
no other
competitive.
genre has this amount of competitiveness, and like, and then but then on top of that, like the socioeconomic, like, kind of like all of that stuff involved. Like, there's all of this other stuff that's happening that's like very culturally specific to hip hop, that's not necessarily, pop is just so everybody, it's blanketed for everybody, which is fine. Hip hop, obviously, there's so much more to it, that as it's rising, there's so many more implications of what is rising with it.
Hip hop is just like, it's a culture, so it's more than just the music, where it's like pop music, not necessarily the same thing. Not that there isn't culture in pop music as well, but it's just hip hop it's different.
Yeah, we just need like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber to have like a really intense beef or something, and like we'll just see, like we'll find out if something can happen. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, so I know the pop fans definitely got beef going on all the time.
They got beef going
It's true, yeah.
all
I mean,
the
if we
time.
just get the fans like in a room together, we get some serious content right there.
That's true. It would be so volatile. Any other exciting moments so far in 2025?
That was pretty much it for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, that's about it for me too. I mean, there's other stuff, like it was fun getting a Mac Miller release in 2025.
Yeah.
That was kind of exciting, but yeah, nothing else that I really care to talk about.
You guys don't want to talk about Morgan Wallen's like 500 track album? That wasn't an
Didn't listen
exciting
to it.
moment for you.
Didn't want to waste my
I
time.
did listen to it,
Nice.
and
How was it?
I will admit there are a couple songs that I enjoy.
He's always got a bop or two.
I was kind of surprised that I was
Yeah.
like, man, I gotta save this song.
Yeah. Kudos to him for like releasing the most narcissistic track of 2015 with the "I'm the Problem" or whatever it is. Like, I was like,
Is
whoa,
that the one
that's
Post
like,
Malone?
I don't think so. I think that's just him. But he's like, the whole premise of it is like, it's like, if I'm the problem, maybe I'm not. Maybe you're the problem. It's like the most
So it's like gaslighting. Okay.
Yeah, it's so gaslighting.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds like Morgan Wallen. Yeah, the only song I heard from that one was the Tate McRae song, which was I thought was awful. So
that one's so bad.
yeah, I didn't want to listen to
it was
40 songs of that.
Yeah,
I was good on that.
No,
it's a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's pivot using this. Disappointing moments in 2025. That could be one.
Yeah, I mean, kind of Morgan Wallen involved in the same thing. I would just say the Billboard hit chart and just like hit songs in general this year. I feel like when you look at the top 10 this entire year, half of it for the most part has been songs that came out a year plus ago. Benson Boone, Shabuzi, they've been there for over a year plus. And then you got these new songs like Alex Warren, Ordinary, no disrespect to the guy, but it is like some of the most generic pop music I've heard since like 2014. It just kind of seems like we're going back to that apparently, which isn't even like a good sound from that time. So I really don't understand it. Obviously, Morgan Wallen just filling the charts up. I will say the one bright light it was what I saw today when I saw Raven Lene is "Love Me Not" is projected to be in the top 10 this week. Wow. Which is like a sliver bit of hope. It's just a little bit of hope that maybe we're gonna go somewhere soon. But yeah, it's the charts have been rough and not like any big summer hits so far this year. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's getting rough out there, and like I've gotten to the point where I'm not even really paying attention to the charts anymore. I'm like, it's just so like, I don't know. Maybe I'm becoming like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm just like, I don't even know if I can trust that any of this is even organic.
I mean, in the
growth.
grand scheme of things, the charts, they don't really mean much.
Yeah.
It's just fun to like engage with. But I mean, really what is like radio for some reason still has the biggest effect on the charts. Yet it's like, in terms of music media, it's not the most popular.
Yeah.
So it's strange, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's unfortunate.
Even like the most streamed songs on Spotify though are like bad songs.
Yeah.
Like what's going on? Let me ask you guys this. Did you guys have like a song that came out this year that you thought was going to chart on the Billboard chart or that you thought was going to be like a summer hit? I would love to hear what you guys, because for me it was "What Was That" by Lorde. Like I thought that was going to chart.
Honestly, it was a little bit bigger for Lorde compared to some of her other singles. It did decently well, I think. I'm shocked Lady Gaga off her new record didn't get a single hit, because there is some banger pop tracks on that record.
Yeah, and she used to dominate the charts. Like just anytime she released anything, she would dominate the charts.
She was getting play. Like when I was watching the NBA Finals, ESPN was playing some Gaga songs sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Abracadabra was like the March Madness.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. It was March Madness. Abracadabra going into the commercial break for March Madness. Like
that's amazing.
How did that not chart?
Yeah,
and it's such a. It sounds like such a hit too. I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, that I can't think of any off the top of my head other than like I would agree like that Gaga didn't get any of that. That was like a huge shock to me. But yeah, I think I've been finding myself listening to so much more like not underground, but like I don't know what you would call underneath the superstars of pop and hip hop. Like I've been listening to that tier so much that I'm just like I know none of this is going to chart. So I'm just like I don't know. But yeah, I excuse me. I do think like there's just such like I don't know. There's just such a race with all of these tracks, especially singles, to try to chart them. like right away. Like you think of some of these kind of like generic pop. Like I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought of like Sabrina Carpenter's like her like new single, but I was just like, I don't know. I'm kind of over this
I thought
now.
it was fine. Yeah, I thought it was
Yeah.
fine. I mean, honestly, it's better than a lot of the stuff that is on the charts. I'd rather that
It's
be
true.
on the charts
That's
than
true. Yeah.
most of whatever other
Better
stuff
than
is
on the
there.
charts, but not as good as like the best work that she
Yeah,
has put out
on her last
recently.
record, yeah,
I was
definitely.
pretty
Yeah.
disappointed with the
Mhm.
single.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just feel like I'm like I think that there's just this kind of regurgitation that happens, and like where it's like, whoa, like we didn't realize, you know, Short and Sweet was gonna pop off like this. Let's chase this. And then it's like, no, I just don't love how that kind of dominates in pop. Like I don't know, like obviously I'm not a huge fan of Tate McRae, but like her her album that she came out with, like her sophomore album or whatever, I was just like, what is this? Like I don't know.
Dude, she's
Yeah.
Canadian.
Oh,
sorry.
damn, Canadian kid.
I'm sorry.
She's
Canadian,
like your fellow
Canadian beef,
sister.
man.
I'm beefing now. I'm beefing with Tate.
Nah,
Yeah,
to
I
be
don't know.
fair, I mean, I think some of her influences are cool, but as of now, I don't really think she has much that really stands out for me.
Yeah,
So
me
I get
neither.
it. I get it.
I haven't caught anything.
Yeah.
So this is like one conversation that I know we've had is, why is Jack Antonoff getting his fingers on everything? My wife just told me this. I don't know if it's true. She saw it on Reddit. I haven't done any research, but she told me that Jack Antonoff is rumored to be working with Charlie XCX.
I don't.
On like her next.
I feel like I would have
There's
saw
no
that.
way that could be true, right?
I feel like I would have saw that.
There's no way
I
that
don't
could
think
be
that's
true.
I don't think
I
that's
hope
true.
not.
My wife just got sentelled on.
Can we kind of defend Jack Antonoff for a bit?
No.
Like
Only if you're talking about GNX or early
No.
Lorde work.
no, I'm gonna defend him hard. Actually,
Okay.
I mean, he did
He's
put
got
out that
some good
that
stuff.
record with Lana a few years ago, which was arguably Lana's best album.
Yeah.
Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. Like when it comes to the stuff with Taylor, yes, like they have obviously overstayed their welcome. I think creatively they need to take a break, and they have put out not the strongest stuff as of late. But like Jack still got a lot of great stuff under his bag. Like he did that 1975 record not too long ago, which I thought was one of 1975's best records. He did the Claro Sling wasn't that long ago. that was a great record too. He did that Kevin Abstract album a while back. Like, and obviously you mentioned the GNX Kendrick. I just feel like it's really just Taylor. And honestly, I feel like some of the stuff he did with Sabrina last year wasn't bad either.
I don't know.
I'm not a huge fan of Bleachers, so I would.
The
I'm not big on
Sabrina's
Bleachers either.
The
I'm not big on
Sabrina stuff,
Bleachers.
like, I think it's okay because it's Sabrina, not because Jack helped with it. And like, I just am tired of like hearing those stupid synths everywhere. Like,
Yeah. Whenever he
just
goes like
tired
too
of
much
it.
down the Taylor synthy pop route, it's like no. But when he gets a little bit versatile and does a little something different, I'm here for it. I think he's a great producer.
he's
Honestly,
clearly
even
very talented. Yeah.
hypothetically, I think I trust Charlie enough. If she were ever to work with Jack Antonoff, she could make something really good.
Me too. And yeah, Jack, he would be able to contribute on a Charlie record. Like, if they were working together hand in hand, it would probably sound
Have they
good.
never worked together on anything before?
I don't know.
Let me check it.
I actually don't know.
He's gonna come. Actually, he produced Olive Brat. I think the thing that gets me though is like how much you never know when you're in a relationship with a producer and a writer. Olivia Rodrigo and Dan are an example. How can you ever know who's pulling their weight and what? You know what I mean? How can you know how much is Dan, how much is Olivia? Because nobody will ever know, because nobody will ever have been in that. And so I think that that's like the thing for me is like obviously you can tell when Jack Antonoff's hands have been into it in terms of the synths, stuff like that. But it is tough in the pop world, and especially country, and I'm sure most genres anyway. When you think about writing and producing, a lot of the time these big producers are actually like writing so much more because they have these hits under their belt, and the label is basically like, hey, like trying to control, like they're trying to basically say like, hey, like I know you have your artistic creative vision, we're gonna try to do that for you, but like we're bringing in Jack because he's gonna have at least 4 or 5 hits that are gonna hit like these huge numbers, right? And I think that's what's tough for me sometimes is to know, especially when an artist like Taylor and Jack work so much. Like obviously Taylor's known for writing all of her own songs, but it gets to the point where you're kind of like, how much writing is she really doing anymore? How much you know what I mean? Like you kind of saw a big change when she worked with Aaron Dessner on her 2 folk albums, and those, you know, were amazing, right?
Her best
And
written
sometimes,
albums.
yeah,
I say her best albums, period.
yeah, absolutely. So I guess sometimes I get really skeptical when I see like these artists pairing up with these producers, and I start to wonder like how much is it that this artist is actually like this is this artist, and how much is it that this producer is really shaping this artist in a way, because you know they obviously have so much control, especially if an artist isn't like one of the most musically talented. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
I don't know. I feel like Taylor's like the biggest artist in the world, so she definitely has, and she owns her master now. She definitely has like a lot of creative freedom. So I don't think these artists are like holding Jack Antonoff, or Jack Antonoff is holding these artists captive. I feel like just as much blame, equal amount of blame should go on the artist for working with him.
Yeah, the artist. Yeah, sure.
But honestly, the only issue I have with Jack's stuff is the Taylor stuff. I don't really have an issue with anything else he's been doing recently.
The thing with the pop genre is one of those genres where, like, I don't need to hear a signature sound from a producer on a pop record. That maybe is just me, but like one thing about Dan and Olivia that I love is that Dan and Chapel sound so different from Dan and Olivia. It's like, you maybe wouldn't even recognize that it's the same producer that is putting out these amazing records. And so I am a fan of that more than hearing Jack's like signature synths on a Sabrina song that I also heard on a Taylor song or something like that. But yeah, I don't really have a beef with Jack. I just sometimes talk like I have a beef for whatever reason.
I think you have a beef.
I don't like that he was like constantly nominated for or he was constantly winning best producer at the Grammys. I don't have a problem with him being nominated because he produced some of the biggest records of the year, but it was just like it was so nice this year. Again, some positive things about the Grammys that Dan Nygaard did win best producer. It was a good thing to see.
Yeah,
I think just a break from Jack and Taylor would be good for like a whole album cycle. And after that, like I probably would be open to hearing Jack produce again.
I just want a Taylor Swift break in general. Like I
been a long
want to hear Taylor Swift music for a while.
Yeah.
I think she needs a break too. I think she just needs to like take some time. She's been like the biggest focal point of pop for so long. I think she needs to take some time, get some more creative juices pumping into her body a little bit more. Like I just think she's exhausted every ounce of creativity, and you like the last album was like a testament of that to me, because like everybody, especially the diehard Taylor fans, the things that they always harp on is like as a lyricist, Taylor is great. And the Tortured Poets Department was horrendous lyrically. Like in my opinion, I thought it was so bad. And I'm just like, if that's what you think Taylor is the best at, like obviously she's a great entertainer and she's a great curator of her live music and her live shows. But if like your whole thing is like she's a great lyricist, and then like she puts out an album where you're like, some of these lyrics are so horribly corny and so much about like fan service and like tending to your super fans, it's like you need to take a break. Just chill, take a break, maybe, or go in, you know, some cabin up in the Swiss Alps with some producer you've never worked with before, similar to the Aaron Dessner thing, and like do something different. Like totally go work with Bjork or something out.
I've been saying forever, I think she needs to do a collab album with Bon Iver. That's what I really should do.
Yeah, just her, Bon Iver, like her, Justin Vernon, and Jimmy Stax just go out in the Swiss Alps. And
Jimmy Stax over doing some Taylor Swift would be interesting.
That would be cool. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Tyler, you didn't like we declared that Charlie Puth should be a bigger artist? What don't you like about that line?
Tattooed golden retriever? That didn't hit you?
Dude,
Man, there
you
were
must
so
hate
many bad
dogs.
ones. Like
You hate
what is it
dogs.
like touching me while you play Grand Theft Auto? Like so many like bad lines, like so many bad lines. I was just like I was and they just kept coming to her defense. They're like, "No, it's great. It's she's like acting like she's in high school again." I'm like, "I don't want to hear this crap." Like, what are
Yeah,
you
she's
talking
not in
about?
high school again. So,
Yeah, like,
all right,
come
here
on.
are two disappointing albums.
Do it,
That
do
were
it.
Ooh,
pretty
okay, I'm interested to
disappointing
hear
moments
this.
for me. Okay,
Okay.
one was "Forever Is a Feeling" by Lucy Dacus. I was really disappointed.
Interesting.
Wow.
You
I know.
hate Happy Lucy. You hate her.
Yeah, you don't
when
like that she's in
happy.
a strong relationship
Come on,
and in
man.
love. You don't like that she's in love.
I actually don't think I do. I think it's boring. I am being genuine. Like, horny, in love Lucy Dacus is just kind of boring to me. I do think that it was impressive vocally, but I don't find myself going back to the album, which
I would agree.
you
with
guys
that.
are acting like it's a hot take. I didn't know it was going to be such a hot take.
Honeybee message to Lucy Dacus, get depressed again.
Yes.
Yes, please.
I guess you're not going to be able to interview her when she comes through on that festival.
We'll see. I am a Lucy Dacus fan. That's why I was disappointed, is because like I was expecting to have this album in my rotation throughout the year, and I don't even know if it made it out of the month that it was released, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I will say I did like the record, but I haven't really had the urge to go back to it.
Okay, so maybe I'm not alone, Mike. Okay.
So this brings me to asking, do you hate Happy Bon Iver? Do you hate Happy Justin
No.
Vernon? Did you like Okay.
Happy Justin Vernon heals the world.
Okay.
My other album is, you guys should have guessed this already, The Carter 6.
Oh yeah.
Like,
everybody has that.
Well, that's gonna when we talk about worst, that's definitely
okay. Then we don't need to talk about it now.
Yeah.
We can talk about it then.
Disappointing albums for me. The Amine album I thought was pretty disappointing, and it's been a while since we got a solo record from him. It sucks too because when listening to that record, it was a pretty personal record, but I just don't think doing a lot of singing really played to his strengths. He was doing a lot of singing, a lot less rapping, and it just didn't play to his strengths to me.
Yeah,
I agree with that, but I also kind of think it's fine. Like, it's okay that he tried something a little different, and some songs work for me, some don't. So
I like some songs. I like that Leon Thomas track, the opening track, a lot, and I like Arc de Triomphe too.
Yeah,
but
there's a few bangers for sure that are on the summer playlist, but I agree it could have been better and probably should have been better. Amine has so much talent and like such good taste. Like, he's such a cool dude.
And honestly, one more for me. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but the Lorde.
It's split, man. I thought that like I was really thinking that it was gonna be like basically everybody was gonna, I don't know, go for it. But did we lose Mike?
Yeah, no, I'm here. My cam went off.
Okay, I was gonna say you just drop that bomb and then you leave. You're like,
he's like, I don't want anyone to see my reaction.
My bad.
I'll push back a little bit on that, just by sharing the way that my mind was framed at the time of release. Lorde is never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, a million years, never, ever, ever going to make an album as good as Pure Heroine or Melodrama ever again. And once I have that in my head, it's a lot easier for me to accept that, okay, this is a cool record. There's some great songs. There's some songs that are kind of snoozers a little bit, but it's a really personal record, good writing. Jimmy Stack offered some good production. So for me, it's like, I wasn't disappointed. It's not going to end up probably like on my end of your list, but I wasn't super disappointed with the release of the album, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I would say I was surprised by how divided it is. Like, some people are hailing this as like the best album of the year, and then other people are like, no, this isn't good. Like, I'm trying. Oh well, I think Anthony Fantano gave it like a 6 or something, like not a grade, or 5 or something, which I was kind of surprised by. But I did think, like, production wise, I was like, it's pretty cool, but I didn't like it. Was really like I think she wanted it to be dialed back and simple, but I
Yeah.
felt like there were times where it was just too simple. Like, and then there were times where I was like, this feels too much like Charlie XCX, and then there were times where I was like, this is cool. So I like went through these like whole waves of like,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I think like, I think the tough part about it, he's back. He just dropped a bomb and left, but now he's back.
All right, I don't know where you guys picked up, but I'll just say this about the Lorde.
We're not friends anymore. You just divide, like, we hate each other now.
I'm back. Slight technical issues, but yeah, I don't know. It definitely was better than her last album. But I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. I think structurally was my issue with a lot of the songs. Like, a lot of the songs don't have like strong choruses or anything like that. And I think lyrically, while I really like the themes of the album, I think it's very sexual and like the expression of that stuff is interesting. But I don't know if the writing's really hitting for me. And yeah, I don't know. The only song that's really been sticking with me is Favorite Daughter and the closing track, maybe.
That's a good track.
But it's just not too many tracks I'm like eager to go back to a week in, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
I will say it's getting better with each listen for me. Yeah, there's some songs that are definitely some snoozers. You know who really could have helped this record? Jack Antonoff.
Bring him in.
They're going to disagree because I did actually forget he made Solar Power, and Solar Power was really boring. And
but he honestly, also did Melodrama.
And he did do Melodrama.
Yeah,
he did do Melodrama this year, which, yeah, I mean, to what you were saying, the thing is, though, like, Melodrama is a great record and one of the best mainstream pop records, but I really thought she would be able to top it, and, you know, 2 albums post that, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I mean, she's still got a lot of career in her. She's still like she's not even 30 yet, right?
Probably not, because
I don't even think she's
was
30
pushed
yet,
in the mainstream when she was like 15 years old. So
so crazy.
There's a lot of time, but I like what she was going for on this record, and I certainly like it more than her last. But I don't know, it's not sticking.
I agree that the melodies should have been stronger, like especially on the choruses. Like, there's really not anything that catches and sticks as far as a hook or a chorus.
I think that's why Favorite Daughter is my favorite, because it has probably the most standout chorus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she could have benefited.
And the writing on that one was super direct and strong too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I wasn't disappointed with the record. I wish it was a little bit better, but I'm kind of with you.
Yeah, it felt like I think it's going to get a lot of love because of how personal of a record it was for her to write, like in terms of lyrically. And I think that's why it's so divided, is because I think a lot of people recognize that side of it. But then I just think, while you left us with that bomb, I was just saying, like, I just felt there were a lot of times where I felt like the tracks were like, I know that she was trying to kind of go for this kind of dialed like back, like more simple, not a lot going on, but sometimes it was too simple for me. Like, there just wasn't enough going on in the tracks, which would probably lead to it being boring. And there are other times where I just felt like this feels so Charlie XCX to me. Like, it doesn't feel original. Like, it doesn't feel like Lorde is doing Lorde necessarily. And mostly I'm talking about in the production behind some of that stuff.
I didn't get that. I know there's a little bit of electronic stuff in there for sure, but I think Lorde's always kind of done that, really.
She has, yeah. I guess I just felt like, coming from, and maybe that's the thing, maybe it's that like Brat is more Lorde than Charlie, but like I just felt like there was a lot of similarities in production on Brat, like when we're talking about some of the sounds that she used sonically. I just felt like I could turn on Brat and it'd be kind of a similar vibe.
I think Jimmy Stack kind of has more of an ear for an electronic sound than like Jack Antonoff does, for example. So maybe that's where you're kind of finding some similarities.
There's more like club sounding tracks on Brat. I don't really know if that's the case for the new Lorde.
I wish there was a club track on the Lorde album, honestly. Like, I think that would have been fun.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, I guess I was pretty much just shocked at how divided everybody was by it, I think. I like some of that stuff is hit and miss with me, but I really thought like everybody was gonna be like, this is one of the best records of the year. But it's
That's
it
what the
seems
hope
really
was
divided.
before the release. Like for sure,
Yeah,
I think people had expectations for that, and I don't think it met those
I
expectations.
think once I heard the singles, I started getting more skeptical. But I was really hoping maybe in context of the record they'll hit a little bit harder. Honestly, I do think some of them sound better in context of the record.
I think so. I really like. I'm listening to Hammer and I'm listening to What Was That a lot right
yeah,
now.
Hammer's really good. Hammer's
I'm
really
listening
good.
to those two tracks more now than I was before as singles. So I would agree with that.
yeah. I think overall, I just kind of was like, I probably won't listen to that album very much. That was my takeaway from it. It was good. It was personal. It was, she's really kind of being a little more vulnerable with some stuff, and that's great. But I was just kind of like, yeah,
It was likable. I was really hoping it'd be one of the better pop records of the year. I don't feel that way.
yeah.
Yeah, that's valid.
Any other disappointing albums, moments?
Not really an album, but more of a moment, I guess. Just whatever the hell's going on with ASAP Rocky. I don't understand it. Whenever I see him post a new tweet, it's about like him promoting some Puma thing or something like that, and it's just like this guy announced an album back in last year and had a date and everything, and then I know he had the trial going on. So I was like, okay, once the trial's up, whatever happens, luckily he was not guilty. Then maybe the album will come out, but it's been like, so 5 months since then, and just nothing. I think he actually did announce a song, but it was like Apple Music exclusive today or something. But the wait has just gotten so ridiculous. I don't know.
He's losing. Like I am losing interest as a big ASAP Rocky fan. Like he's getting into Frank Ocean territory where it's kind of just like, okay, if it comes, it comes. If not, I don't really care at this point.
And the thing with Rocky is that even though I like some of the stuff, he doesn't have he's not Frank, man. Like, he doesn't have those albums to me that will, like, he doesn't have a Blonde. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you can't go that long, especially when his last album was so damn disappointing, in my opinion. And that was like 7 years ago.
Which was Testing his last one?
Testing, yeah.
Yeah, 2018-ish, probably.
Yeah, 2018.
I actually kind of like Testing, but I understand.
Yeah, it was like okay for me. It wasn't great. It was like
I wish he would have leaned
tracks on it.
He had some experimental stuff on Testing.
Yeah, I respected that. Yeah,
I wish he would have like gone fully in. Like none of this 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. Like if you're gonna do an experimental album, do one. Like we would love to hear it. If you're not gonna do one, then stick to what you're good at. Like I don't need just little glimpses here and there personally.
I respected what he did. A lot of my issue also comes down to like the singing on that album, which I can't really stand. But yeah, it's just been so long. I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough to have this long of a wait.
Someone needs to tell him, don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Right?
He's being dumb though.
He's being dumb, but just
really dumb.
Don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb. Come on, man. Don't be dumb.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, you send that to him. Just like tweet at him or something. Don't be dumb, man.
I'll make like a graphic with like a white background and like black big letters that are blocked that just says like don't be dumb. That could work.
Yeah. That could work. That would be great. All right, well on that note, let's go to underrated albums. What do you guys think were some underrated albums this year?
Honeybee, you can go first if you want. Oh, I was gonna ask you. Yeah, if you want.
You're such a gentleman.
I want to make sure you like. If you say anything, that I'm gonna say so.
Okay, yeah. If you've got it, I've got
20.
I actually have like 4 prepared.
Okay.
And
let's hear them.
I categorize them in like I'll start with the top monthly listeners down to the least amount of monthly listeners. So like
okay,
it gets more underrated as we go on.
Okay.
So number 1 is the new Negi Gemi album, aka formerly known as Negative Gemini. She comes from nowhere. She has just under 400,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. It's a fantastic electronic pop album. So if you like Brat and if you were hoping to hear more of that on the Lorde album, this is a good one. Because this album actually has some really catchy melodies, addicting production. Negi Gemi is married to George Clanton. And
shit. Okay.
Yeah, she's cool. They co-founded.
you're putting me on because I have not heard of her, but that's cool.
I think you'll really like this record. They co-founded the 100% Electronica label together, so they both run it, and like they sometimes tour together. So cool, husband and wife just taking over the world.
I didn't even know he was married.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know until pretty recently either, but
that's cool.
It's really good. I'd recommend
definitely
it.
check that out.
You want me to continue, or you want to like hop back and forth, Mike?
I guess I'll name one that I had. Anastasia, Tether. If you don't know the name, you might know her because she was in Kendrick and SZA's Luther video. She was like the main love interest in that video.
Oh, cool.
But she put out an album this year, and it's one of the best folk albums I've heard this year. Really good writer. Really pretty production, but like the most standout to me thing about her is her vocals, her voice. She has like this. She has this like very like raspy-ish vocal, and it's gorgeous. She has a song on there with
deep.
Deep register vocals, and she has a song on there with Umbang Jayar, which is great.
Cool.
Just really, really good folk music.
That's cool, and that's cool that you know how to pronounce that name.
I'm
not gonna try.
I've never said it out loud in my life.
I looked it up before to make sure. I kept on calling her Anesthesia, and I was like, let me make sure this is right.
And I meant Umbang. How do you say that?
Umbang Jayar. Oh.
I've never known how to say that name.
I think that's how you say
his
name. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
I'm actually not 100% confident.
I'm giving you bonus points here, though. Like you got both of them, nailed it, and I'll check that album out for sure. I haven't tapped in yet. My next one is New Place by Pale Blue Eyes. The name Pale Blue Eyes might sound a little familiar because of the Velvet Underground song Pale Blue Eyes. They like really shape their sound. They're influenced by the Velvet Underground, Slow Dive. They're a UK band kind of in that shoegazy realm, and it's really good. And they've got just under 40,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. So
that's super.
They're pretty like they're not well known, but they're really, really good.
The other one I had was May Simones. She has this album that she put out a couple months back called Animaru. She's got like a cool blend of jazz and like indie rock and sweet voice too, super sweet voice. And she also like switches in between Japanese and English.
Cool.
But
That's cool.
Super pretty record and sweet guitar playing on there too, and string work.
That sounds like one I'm gonna like. This next one is an indie folk record. It's a sophomore album from Free Range. It's called Lost and Found. Free Range is from the Chicago musician Sophia Jensen, and they have just under 30,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, but it has really, really good songwriting. And it's the type of folk that has kind of a melancholic vibe, like a vibe of like melancholy. I don't know if I just made that word up or not, but it's very calming and really good vocals too. It's just a good record that you can put on and just kind of vibe to for a little bit. And then my last one is a local Utah band. They're called Sad Cartoon. And the EP is called Do You Miss the Way You Used to See the World? It's like a metal and a shoegaze album, like at times both, which is kind of an interesting combination. And they only have like at less than 2,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. They're relatively unknown, but pretty good. I would recommend it if you're interested in that type of mix of like shoegaze, metal, and rock, kind of all a little whirlwind of genres there. So pretty cool.
Interesting. All right, love that. Do you have any more, Mike, or was that it?
I had one last one. The Rico Nasty album. Lethal.
Oh yes,
yeah. I feel like people didn't talk about that one. I think it's one of her, if not her best. And she really was like digging in more to like the metal rock thing. She's always kind of had that influence in her music, but I feel like she's really went all in on here, and it's just filled with bangers, man. It also has like some of the Sugar Trap stuff that she was doing early on in her career mixed in there as well. But I've always loved Rico, and I'm kind of sad that like the album didn't get talked about more. It's got some bangers on it, man.
I agree. There's like probably 10 songs off that album that are like heavy in my rotation right now. It's really, really good. I agree. On the Low, that's like one of my favorite songs right now for the summer. Like I listen to that song like once a day
too.
Yeah,
like the sugar. That's like the classic Sugar Trap sound.
But I agree. Like I like the rap metal too. She's
like Son of a Gun. Oh, that song is hard.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see her in. I think she's coming to Salt Lake in September.
I am seeing her in I think September or October. Yeah.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do it.
She's not coming to Nashville. Surprise, surprise. Not a big scene left for that.
Doesn't seem like there's a crossover there. Really.
No. Oh gosh. All right. Well, let's move on to worst albums. We'll end with favorite or best albums, but let's move on to worst albums.
Okay. So we talked about it a little bit earlier, but Lil Wayne, the Carter 6.
Yeah.
Wow.
So unfortunate.
I barely have like anything. Like I just can't believe how awful it was. Like terrible song ideas. Like the Weezer cover. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Terrible writing. There's like some of Wayne's worst bars ever. Horrible hooks. Production that sounds like it came from 2010. There's bad.
No reason for this album to even have been released. Like, who is it for?
Yeah.
Like, the Wayne fans hate it because it's just like reminds them that he's washed.
Yeah.
New fans aren't gonna listen. Like, there's literally no reason for it. But
does he have some sort of a contract with his label where he's like got to put out a certain amount of albums, and like this was like his last?
Well, he's always had label issues with like Birdman and stuff like that. So I don't know, but I will say the fact that what's his name is on this album, forgetting his name. He had that, he was on the hook where like every like millennial on TikTok was like singing over it and going like this.
I can't think of what it is.
God, I have to look it up because I don't want to.
It was so horrible. It was.
I will say,
horrible.
like, I kind of was
Jelly Roll.
Oh yeah, Jelly Roll.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like, why is Jelly Roll on a Lil Wayne album, man?
Hey, Jelly Roll.
And Bono,
is everywhere.
get Bono the hell out of here. Get Bono out of here. That
bad.
song is terrible.
Yeah.
I understand Jelly Roll more than Bono. Like Jelly Roll's everywhere, and he's
I
like
guess
because
he's more popular
guy.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's such a hip hop guy that like I get that he's been working with a lot. Like he did a lot of work with Snoop Dogg on his like album that he put out or whatever. So
dude,
I don't know.
That alone,
it's
like,
still ridiculous.
The fact that we're having a conversation and one of you guys just brought up the fact that Jelly Roll is more popular than Lil Wayne in 2025. Like, he did not need to put this album out.
Yeah.
It's just like, and to add salt to the wound, like Nicki Minaj hops on that remix and like adds fuel to the fire of how bad this album is. Like that remix was even worse.
That remix was out, but I didn't hear much about it.
It's so bad. Don't even listen to it.
And there's also a song on here with MGK and Kodak Black on the same song. I couldn't think of two people I'd want to hear less than those two on the same track. And they deliver like this emo thing. Like these guys are 30 plus years old, man.
What I was gonna say is that Welcome to the Carter is kind of a tease. Like, I think it's kind of good.
Yeah, no, I thought that song, I thought it was good, but then I also found out that there was some AI in there too. Like the whole sample on that, I believe, is AI.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I was like,
that
the only song
it.
I kind of liked, has AI involved in there.
Yeah, that
he needed some help for a good hook.
Yeah. Another one that I really didn't like is the Will Smith record. I know Mike hated it too.
It was pretty bad.
That's so bad.
Yeah.
But the one that I will talk about that kind of could have gone in the disappointing album, but I wasn't like expecting too much. That's why I put it in worst albums category. Is Pink Elephant by Arcade Fire.
Oh,
because
bad.
Arcade Fire was a good band, but this record was too safe, too familiar, didn't tap into the actual good nostalgic parts that they had made previously in their career, and instead they tapped into like the boring stuff that they made before. And it just feels like really millennial, outdated, lackluster, just a waste of time.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I agree. Wasn't going into an Arcade Fire album in 2025 with high expectations. I mean, it's been like 15 years since I enjoyed an Arcade Fire record.
Yeah.
So.
That was it was really bad. I agree. There was no disappointment because there was no expectation. It's pretty bad. Any other bad ones?
The Sleep Token album. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I listened.
Just a mess. a metal album. I say metal in quotation because it barely feels like a metal record. It feels more like a pop thing, and they just kind of throw metal bits in there for like 10 to 15 seconds on most tracks and then just go back. Like it is a mess. Like every song just feels like one, like you just threw a bunch of ideas at the wall and none of them stuck. And also the lyrics are really corny.
I agree, but I feel like some people liked that record.
No, Sleep Token has a very diehard fan base.
Yeah.
They ride for Sleep Token.
Yeah, it was pretty bad though. I agree. Not good.
I was not. I don't even think I finished it. I was like,
I mean, it went
like
number
3
one.
tracks in. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, the charts are.
No, they have a passionate fan base,
help.
but I just feel like what they're putting out is like barely even metal. I mean, I guess the crossover I get because it is pretty much pop music.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we think of like the Drake and Party Next Door?
Boring.
Would this make the worst albums?
No, I wouldn't say it's like one of the worst albums I heard. It's definitely one of the most boring. Like,
yeah.
But there's other than the Meet Your Padre track, there wasn't like too many songs on there that stuck out to me as like really bad. And Nokia was a good song.
No, I thought you were saying I thought you were saying Meet Your Padre was real bad.
Nokia, I will say that was when I heard the album, I was like, this is the only song that stands out to me, and I do like it. Will say though, I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it anymore.
It's been overplayed, but like, did that song chart, Mike? Did you?
No, it did. I think it peaked at like 2. I think it like peaked at like 2 or 3. It was actually it peaked at 2 because it was it was in race with Kendrick and SZA Luther for a little bit.
That's right.
It never really got close though, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's not a great album, but like it is very listenable. It's not great, but it's not bad.
I also am like a big time Party Next Door hater. I think he's one of the most uninteresting R&B artists of his era. So going into it, I was already like, the vocals suck, the writing sucks. Definitely not a good bounce back for after that beef. Post that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he like wanted to put that out into the universe like that. Like he knew that everyone was going to judge that according to the beef that just happened. So I was a little surprised that he.
Yeah, at the same time, it's really the only thing you can do if you're Drake. After that,
just keep releasing
put out music.
Right?
Honestly, listen, Nokia is one of the biggest tracks of the year.
Yeah, it did its job.
It has not been a big year for like hits or anything, but it is one of the biggest tracks of the year.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So maybe it was the best case scenario for him.
Yeah, like just kind of put out kind of a half-hearted thing, not too
just get
serious.
Something out there, right? Like
because if it was too serious and people hated it, then like they'd come at him like you're not even good anymore. So if you put out something half-hearted, it's like he'd just be like, oh, it was just like fun. I was just having fun. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't have to claim it as a serious project.
I actually wish he would be like a Nokia and be less serious and be more silly on the songs. I feel like that is right now where he's at his best. Now he's doing the tough guy thing. Yeah, now when he's doing the tough guy thing, and honestly, the R&B stuff these days, he clearly does not have it as a singer as like he did a few years ago. So just get silly.
You're telling me that the equivalent of this album is like when you send a text to the girl you like in junior high, and she responds, and you're like, "Oh, sorry, that was my friend." If she like didn't respond how you wanted her to, that's like the equivalent of the Drake album. It's like, "Oh, sorry." That was my friend Party Next Door, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Put that record out.
You just kind of excuse it. If like somebody doesn't like it, you're just like, oh no, it wasn't me. Like,
my bad. That was really P&D. That wasn't me.
Yeah,
and that's
I didn't really care.
Thing about the album, I think the 2 biggest songs on it are the songs where Party Next Door has no involvement.
True.
So it's like, what was even the point?
Yeah, it's true.
That's true.
Just to have somebody on, I guess. I don't know. What do we think of the Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco relationship album?
I thought it was whatever. I just we talked about this when we did our podcast together. It was just me and you. I think Selena Gomez is. I don't think she's ever been like a artist who does more like of what she does for like a money thing. I don't really see like much passion or heart that goes into her music, and I just kind of felt that way about the Selena record. It's not the worst thing I ever heard. The Benny.
What I will say what I like about it, and that maybe pushes back on the not passionate point a little bit, is that some of these songs are like very clearly like the song that Charlie helped with obviously is like very Charlie sounding. She has songs that sound very much like a Taylor Swift song. Like she's kind of pulling from the most popular pop artists right now.
Yeah, and there's the Maria's track is just a Maria's track.
Yeah, which like on one hand it's like okay,
I'd rather
you
just hear the
couldn't.
Marias do this.
Yeah,
They
you
pretty
couldn't
much
come up
always
with
made Maria
something
songs.
out of yourself.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, okay, if it's like a love letter to Benny Blanco and the pop genre, a little bit, like, I don't know, maybe there's something there. I'm not even convinced with this argument as I'm telling it to you guys, but
As I'm making this argument, I'm actually actively against it.
yeah, it wasn't bad, but
Yeah, no.
I don't have
Three-
one song. Like, I have a running best of 2025 playlist, and I don't have one Selena Gomez song in it.
How long is that playlist?
She's
though?
never really done it for me.
Right now, there's like probably 500 or so
Damn.
songs.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
You see,
That's
it's-
pretty crazy.
See, that's why,
It's a
like,
lot of work.
when I do it, I don't take the deep cuts. I just do singles, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I already
pull
have like
everything.
I have 200 plus already, and that's just singles.
It's so much. I pull everything, and then at the end of the year, I'll trim it down to 300, and then I rank them too. Like, that's what I like to do
That's
at the end
a
of the
lot of
year,
work,
and
man.
it takes me like
Yeah,
all of December to do it, but
that's crazy.
it's kind of fun. But yeah, it's
I
a
did
lot.
have one other real quick. The
Yeah?
Benson Boone album that came out a few weeks ago. It's pretty much everything I dislike about mainstream pop music
Facts.
right now is just solidified in that Benson Boone
Yeah.
album. Just overproduced, not a lot of soul, pretty annoying vocals. Even though I don't think the guy's like he's got talent vocally, but it's just like
Yeah.
that whole album is just him doing too much. And writing, gosh, get some better writers from my man, please.
Yeah, I totally agree. But what I will say is, like, Benson Boone is the type of artist where you can, like you said, you see the talent a little bit, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if in like 10 years, after he puts out all of this slop, he locks in and like makes something that is like a little more worthwhile. I can't think of an example of an artist like that, but I have a sneaking suspicion that he is more talented than this horrible album that he just put out. Like, he
All right,
could
you
make a
guys-
better album.
Do you guys want to put your tinfoil hats on for a second? My theory on Benson Boone is that when Louis Capaldi had to leave because of his Tourette's, like, just totally wrecking his live shows, the industry saw a gap in this, like, just really big, raspy voiced yell screamers, and they brought Benson Boone in to fill this gap because they knew, like, Louis Capaldi was huge. He just, like, came out of nowhere. It was massive. So they saw this gap. So that's what my theory is, basically, that he's an industry plant because of the hole that Louis Capaldi left when he basically couldn't do anything anymore. Because
Honestly, what you just said actually, I think, describes Alex Warren a lot more.
yeah, it's true. But he's
'Cause I
so
feel like
recent.
his music sounds more like
It's
like
true.
him, like Louis Capaldi.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. I didn't know who Alex Warren was like 3 months ago until
I don't think
Did
there's
was
not
anybody?
much people.
Nobody
no,
did.
not many. Unless
I
you
don't
were
know.
like
I don't know.
really
Where-
young and into like TikTok
Yeah.
lore. Like, I knew what
Yeah,
the Hype House
maybe.
was. But I
Oh,
did
he was
not
in the
know
Hype House?
Yes, he was in the Hype House.
Oh.
I know what it was. I did not know he was in it.
I didn't.
Oh,
And apparently, so
that
he was.
makes
So his whole
sense.
thing is like he was like a David Dobrik knockoff.
Really?
And yeah, so he deleted all his videos actually, but he had a bunch of videos where he just did like these vlog style David Dobrik thing, and he was also in like a reality show. And I've seen some of the clips from the reality show. Dude is actually like a dickhead. To be honest, like
That's
his whole
probably why I
thing is.
deleted all the videos.
It's so funny because his whole thing is like him being like this super supporting husband, but like the stuff that he was doing to his wife in that show is like kind of crazy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
If you have the chance, check out some of the clips. They're pretty funny.
Makes sense. I had no idea where he came from, but I saw that
Yeah,
he was
me either.
sitting at number 1 on the charts for like 3 weeks with
Yeah,
that.
I think he's
that
still
song?
won. He's been one. I think he's still won. Or Morgan Wallen might have topped him actually. I don't know.
Maybe.
Mm.
Anyway, I listened to that song and it sounds like something you would hear like in a church. Like,
Yes, no, it's very like gospel influenced, and it's like the boyish vocals that you would hear from like Louis Capaldi. It's so outdated. Like I thought we were so past that sound, but
to
apparently
be
there's
clear, I'm saying that with negative connotation for anybody that's mistaken that. Like, it sounds horrible.
yeah. I mean, but apparently
Yeah.
there's a group of people that are digging it. I don't know. Lana
Weird.
Del Rey apparently likes it. So
Bro.
I don't
Okay,
know.
we
It's-
talked about anticipated albums for the rest of the year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am excited for the Lana album.
I don't think that's coming out.
I don't really think it will either.
I've already decided.
She's just like such a wild card lately.
Yeah.
Like the last like 2 years, like I just don't know. Like, who is she? She's like an enigma. She's a mystery. Like,
She's always been kind of weird, to be honest.
Yeah, she has been weird.
But it was really
for
cool.
sure.
Like, really cool weird.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like kind of just weird.
No, she was definitely weird back then too. But like, it's just like the music was really good. So it was like, wait,
Yeah,
what you're
excuse
saying
it.
online isn't as so bad where it's like affecting me personally to like want to listen to your music. But yeah, He's always been a little
ever
strange.
since she married the alligator wrestler, I'm like,
oh yeah,
this is just getting weird, dude. Like, what?
Yeah. Oh
So
gosh.
anyway,
Yeah.
I am excited for the album if it comes out. Like, I think a country themed lawn album would be pretty fun.
I mean,
Are
some of
you-
the singles weren't bad. I actually kind of forgot about the singles already, but
Me too,
I thought there
actually.
was one that was kind of really boring though, wasn't there?
maybe honestly, I haven't gone back to them. So
Yeah, what it was
I think
is
the
there was
first
two
one was-
singles, and they were like almost copy and paste. Like the second single, even the artwork.
yeah,
Of
the
the
artwork
album
was
artwork.
terrible.
It's like the same though. Like it's just like
Yeah.
the same photo, like zoomed
Yeah.
in and cropped. It's like
Weird.
Nice.
weird. It's really.
She's always
like,
had really weird artwork at points. She's had some really great artwork, but like I remember the first couple artworks for I think it was Blue Banisters straight up looked like she made them on Canva.
Nice. Hey, Canva's great.
I use Canva for my thumbnails, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But when
dude,
you're
quit
Lana
hating
Del
on
Rey and you have
Canva.
the access to all the art in the world, you
Yeah,
should be
it's
making
true.
Canva covers.
Yeah, man. I think I remember the like the first single I thought was good. The second single I thought was boring. I can't remember.
They both are kind of boring, low key.
Were they both boring?
a little bit?
Yeah, which makes me just be like, I don't know if I am that excited for the album. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough album to kind of like. I don't know, after her Boulevard album or whatever. That like this is gonna be a tough follow.
It's gonna be hard to top that.
But she
Yeah.
like she has the luxury of missing. Like she has some albums
She's-
that aren't
yeah.
great,
No,
but
for
she
sure.
has
true.
some albums that are like 10 out of 10 and
Yeah.
are so amazing. And like, I don't really care if she misses. Like to me, her legacy is kind of cemented in my brain, at least.
that's
Like my feelings towards her. So like,
Yeah.
sure, take a risk, put out a boring country album if you want. If there's a couple of songs that I like, then great. And if it works, then even better. But if not, I don't really care. So I'm excited for it.
That's true.
Yeah. As long as she actually takes a risk, I think that's the thing. Like she could put out a country album and it basically be just a Lana Del Rey album with a country, with a cowboy hat on, basically, and then it just be kind of, I don't know. I think that if she takes a risk, then that would be really cool, even if it misses. I really like when artists do that, even if it is like kind of like, oh, that wasn't that great. or
Her last
whatever.
album took probably the most risks I think she ever did. So
Yeah.
Oh, and it
Yeah.
was so
I'm hopeful.
cool. It
Yeah.
worked.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the singles, they are making me very scared that her version of a country album is still just her Americana vibe, but with
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
dialed back production, and it's just
Yeah,
like,
honestly, they felt more Americana than country.
Mhm. Yeah,
which I
totally.
get, like that's who she is, kind of. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would be really disappointed if the album is similar to how the singles are, just kind of
Mhm.
piano with an Americana vibe. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, favorite albums. Let's do this. Or
Okay.
best. I don't know.
Yes,
Whichever you want to label them as.
kind of the same thing for me.
Yeah. My
I'll go-
favorite is always the best, and you better believe it.
That's how it goes for me from the one I'm gonna say right now. McKinley Dixon, Magic Alive. I'm just I was blown away by that record, man. I loved his last record. I got it right here actually.
Yeah.
You've got both of them right there.
Yeah. So that one right there is love that record, and I was like, damn, I don't know if he's gonna top this, but with this one, I think he did. I think he outdid himself. The live jazz instrumentation on it is it's brilliant. Just some of the best produced stuff you're gonna hear on a rap record this year. And just like lyrically, the guy is so damn good. He's just got a hunger in him. And it's conceptual. It has a really cool concept. Like the concept of the record, basically, I'm still kind of like piecing together because I think there's a lot digging into on the record.
Absolutely.
It's basically the premise of the concept is three friends who are trying to bring their dead friend back to life. So yeah, cool concept, brilliant performances, awesome features. It's just so good. It's probably the rap album of the year for me so far.
Yeah, it's a great pick. And I think anytime that an artist is willing to make a concept record like that, I like bonus points, right? Because concept records don't always sell the most, and it's not like
Oh.
McKinley Dixon really has that much of like a following where
Yeah, he's pretty underground. But
Yeah, he's
honestly,
pretty-
the new album is definitely making a lot of noise, so that's cool.
yeah. So anyway, I just think it's cool. Like people don't make concert records like that very often, and so yeah, props to McKinley Dixon. It's a great record.
Yeah, I think that would be in my top 5. I think as well. But I'm a huge like my preferences for hip hop are jazz rap and experimental. So like he's just right in my sweet spot. So I love it. It's amazing.
Got a little bit of both in there.
Yeah, it's
Well,
true.
let's move over to my hip hop record of the year, which is
Kanye West
from the
Bully.
private collection of Saba and No ID.
Nice.
By Saba and No ID, obviously. I love this record because it just feels super intimate, and I remember reading that No ID sent Saba like 100 beats and said that he was really focused on being a beat maker. Like No ID had this quote saying that producers nowadays, like sometimes they try and do too much, and he really wanted to focus on just making some intimate beats, and that, works perfectly with Saba's delivery, just how he is as a rapper, because he just skates over those beats, and his lyrics are very intimate as well. So that's why I love this record. It's like literally from the private collection. It feels like they're letting you in on something that is intimate that like maybe we shouldn't be allowed to listen to. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just is really cool. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was saying I'm with you. I'm with you. I think it's one of the best rap albums I've heard this year.
The reason why it's my favorite is because it's so replayable. Like I can listen to that thing front to back every single day and not get
I literally
bored.
listened to it in the gym like a few days ago.
Yeah.
And it's a shame too, because I feel like it kind of went under the radar a little bit. I know it had like a really weird release, like it kind of came out, it was announced and came out like really quickly. But I do feel like it's Saba sounds hungry on that album. The features are great. It really felt like a Chicago thing with the people he brought on, and the No ID beats are pretty classic. I think it's the best thing Saba has made since Care for Me.
Yeah,
I wasn't crazy about his last record, but
I'd have to think about it because Few Good Things is really, really good.
Yeah, I wasn't as crazy about that album, but I do think this one topped it for me.
I think you're probably right. I just I love it when a rap artist or any artist can work with a producer for the entire album and it doesn't get stale. The production choices are all different, they're varied, and they just like have this cohesion and they work really well off of each other, I feel like. And I don't know, it just works for me. One of my favorites of the year for sure.
Yeah. No, that's a solid one. Back to you, Mike.
I'll go with surprisingly, I would have never thought in a million years I would have liked an album from this person. But Miley Cyrus, Something Beautiful, is one of the best pop albums of the year. And one would even call me a Miley Cyrus hater probably before this, to be honest with you. But yeah, the instrumentation I think was what I was the most impressed by. It's not only really versatile, but it's so layered. Like there's so much effort. You could just hear there's so much effort and so much delicacy that went into the production on that record. And Miley is taking a lot of risks too. Like that lead single, Something Beautiful, is like a wild combination of like jazz and experimental rock.
It's so good, that single.
Yeah, it's one of the best singles of the year.
Yeah.
And vocally, she's always been great, obviously, but still sounding great. And the writing, I think, is the best she's brought to the table too. So yeah, I can't believe I enjoyed a Miley Cyrus album.
I agree. It is enjoyable, and I'm kind of with you. Maybe this actually is kind of an example of what I was saying about Benson Boone. Obviously, Miley's way more talented than Benson Boone is, but in the sense where, like, in the Bangers days, like, you wouldn't really expect Miley to make an album like this, but there were glimpses. Like, everybody knew she was really talented, and this album is kind of the point where I was making before, where it's like, there's something with this record for sure. And I think she even has a little bit more in the tank. Like, I would love a full rock Miley Cyrus album.
That would be sick.
She would destroy that album. She would destroy it. It would be so good.
And that's what frustrated me so much with her last album, because I thought with Plastic Hearts she was onto something. That was definitely the best record from her up until that point. And then the next record, Summer Vacation, was like so bland and just really generic pop music. It confused the hell out of me. And now we're back to her doing more daring stuff again. So I do fear that the next record maybe she'll just go back to doing pop stuff, because it sucks because this album didn't perform well. It's one of her like weaker performing albums. Her last album, obviously Flowers helped that, but it was like one of the best selling pop albums of the year. Which sucks. I think it's the best thing by far she's ever put out.
Yeah. I wonder if she can figure out how to toe that line to make an album that's fairly experimental, but still have a couple hits on the record, which I'm sure her and her label really want. I think she can do it.
Sounds like there's hits on this album. We were talking about that earlier about stuff that should be hits. There's a few songs on this album I feel like should be hits. Like they sound like they would be appealing to the mainstream. Maybe they're just not pushing them as singles. I don't know. But I feel like she does have that on this record. It's just they're not getting pushed.
Yeah. Sometimes, some days I'm like, I have no idea how the music industry works. Like, some days I feel like I have a grasp on it. Like, hey, I listen to a ton of music. Like, I kind of figured it out. And then other days I'm like, I have no idea.
It's unpredictable. The music industry is unpredictable.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Yeah.
I think with that Miley album, like, unfortunately, I just think like when an artist does take a risk like that, especially with Miley, like, that's just not like, you think of Taylor Swift, like both Folklore, Evermore, those weren't some of her biggest albums. People say those are her best albums, right? I think when you take like such a U-turn, like, it's really tough to market that when like a lot of what's driving your numbers are just like generic pop playlists. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff, or like generic pop radio. So like they're not going to be able to play this on generic pop radio. Like they're not going to play any of these tracks probably.
I mean, you look at like Flowers, which was like her most popular song, and to me that is one of her least interesting singles ever.
Yeah, but it was so perfectly boring pop that it just fits on any playlist, any radio. Like, it's just perfect. And TikTok can take it and run with it. Like, it just fits the mold for everything. So it's like the perfect storm of like, this is going to be a huge song. And that is unfortunate, is that we don't reward artists for taking risks in terms of like compensation, what they get back for it. We reward artists for being bland and boring and like kind of fitting into the cookie cutter mold. I don't know if you guys watched Rick Beato at all on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah,
but he just like torched the music industry with basically like destroying Sabrina Carpenter's like single, basically saying like the industry is just like a bunch of scientists in a lab like trying to cook up the best like single that can come out, and it's just like it's devoid of all creativity, all risk. It's just this cookie cutter thing that they throw at, at radio and at playlists and at all this stuff. And but I just think it's so unfortunate when you have an artist that does take a risk like this, like Miley's doing at the point in her career she's at, and it's just kind of like, she's not going to see the reward of that, other than, critically, that album's widely critically successful.
No, that's another thing about the Miley record. Critically, it got kind of panned. Like, critics didn't really like it. Yeah, critics didn't really like it.
I felt like most of what I was seeing was positive, but maybe I missed out some of the
think from like
stuff.
General pop fans, maybe, and music fans for sure. Online places like Rate Your Music Album of the Year, but critics like Pitchfork and they didn't give it very good reviews.
Interesting.
What I will say is, like, I only really like half of the album, probably.
Really?
I haven't done a re-listen yet, though. I've only listened to it one time all the way through. And the more experimental tracks I really gravitate towards and really like, and the other ones I don't. So it's time for me to do a re-listen, but I could see why it's divided, just because I personally didn't like some and I did like some of the others.
I just think it's production-wise, top tier.
It is really well produced, yeah.
So well produced.
So an album that I really love this year is similar to Mike, from an artist that I never expected in a million years that I would like this record. And I actually know that Mike didn't like this record, so I'm excited to hear what he thinks. I love Addison Rae's record this year. I love it. Wow. I can't stop listening to it. I literally cannot stop listening to it.
I am shocked you like that record.
it's her formally introducing herself into the pop world, and I think she did it really tastefully. Like, one thing I love about the record is that there's not even really a song about a love interest, which is so rare in the pop industry. It's really cool, and it's an entirely female produced record, and I think it's pretty well produced. um the production caters perfectly into her Y2K aesthetic that she always has, and I think the production complements her vocals nicely too. Now, I think your main critique, Mike, is that you didn't like the record lyrically.
That's
Right?
probably my biggest critique, but I definitely have. I think the thing is, if you're not a standout vocalist and you aren't necessarily bringing anything new to the table, I feel like the songwriting is just gonna, especially bad songwriting, is gonna stick out a lot more.
Yeah, you're
And
right
that's
about
just
that.
the case. I don't understand. I don't think it's horrible or anything. And I do think she certainly has taste. I'm not saying that she can't make something good in the future. Because I think I like the influences that she pulls from. I just don't think she's doing anything all that interesting with them as of now.
Yeah, that is pretty valid. The one thing I'll say about this record is that for me, like, I don't need it to do a lot lyrically. Like, that's what separates, for example, Brat is like a generational album because it is lyrically like incredible, actually.
Yeah, that's the one. So when I gave my opinions on that Addison Rae record and talked about the lyrics, so many people in the comments were like, "Oh, but you listened to Charlie and her she like I don't understand that." Charlie is like a great writer. Like
Stigma, for some
it's
reason, there's a
really
stigma about
weird. It's
ever
really
since like
weird.
Boom Clap or something.
Yeah,
Maybe I don't know, and maybe that's
I don't get it because if you I question if you even listen to Brat if you have an opinion like that, because if you listen to tracks like So I, the Sophie tribute, beautifully written, Sympathy is a Knife, beautifully written, think about it all the time, like she's written hit songs for other people.
Yeah,
so
it's
is
a
the
really
weirdest
well written
criticism.
album, and that's why it's generational, because it's also incredibly produced. The stylistically, it's incredible. Like, that's what separates it. Addison is not a generational album. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's one of the funnest records of the year, and because it's like a debut record, there's a little bit of leniency there for me, and it just incredibly vibe based. Like, I put this record on and the vibes are really fun and good, and I keep streaming it this summer. And so I don't need it to be lyrically that impressive, honestly. Like, even though there are some times where she gets a little bit personal on the record, but it's not lyrically anything special. But I just love the vibe. Like, the vibes are up, man. What can I say?
You're riding high on the vibe.
How do you feel about that album, Tyler?
I kind of feel similar to Mike and I think one of the biggest things, and I've said this to a lot of people, I think, about how I listen to music. It does take me. I'm very much in like production first, and then it takes me a long time to get onto lyrics. So I don't necessarily attach to lyricism a ton. But what I really felt from that is that I just didn't feel like she was setting herself apart at all. She wasn't cutting out a chunk of the pop sphere. It felt really regurgitated to me. Like it's one thing to be able to like point out somebody's influences and just be like, oh, this kind of sounds like, but it's another to like kind of wear those influences like pretty blatantly on your sleeve. And I just felt like that was a little bit more, it just felt a little regurgitated to me. In that there wasn't a whole lot of like, I'm Addison, this is who I am in the pop world. It just felt like she was pulling from some of these other pop people and didn't really have an identity of her own. That's just how I felt about it. I do think that it was a vibey album. I agree with that. It had good vibes to it. But I think that's just what's really tough in pop, is that it's like getting to the point, especially female pop is like at an all-time high right now. Some of the best female pop artists are just like in the peak of their abilities, and it's so hard. And like a lot of these artists are like coming fairly fresh into the ground, like into the sphere. Like you've got Chappell Roan, you've got Olivia Rodrigo, you've got Charlie XCX. Like you've got these people that they're not like, some of them have been around longer than others. Sabrina Carpenter, but like they're all carving out like this is me, this is who I am, and I've got this specific identity. I just didn't feel that in the same way with Addison as I felt with, you know, Olivia's debut.
I mean,
As I
to be
felt
fair
with
to
Chapel
her,
Roan.
it is just the debut, and she hasn't been making music for
is.
that long.
It is.
And honestly, as far as like influencers that make music go,
she's
like,
in the top tier.
Yeah, and it's like she certainly has a passion for it. Like it doesn't seem like it's just a money thing for her. Like she definitely see, like I watched an entire hour-long interview with her. And she obviously has a love for music, and again, I said before, she definitely has great taste. Like, so maybe in the future, who knows? But it's not a bad debut album.
It's totally fine.
Okay.
Like if you guys, you don't like this record as much as I do, that's totally fine, and your points are absolutely valid. But she will have a really good record in the future, just because of the influences that she's pulling from, her passion for music, like Mike said. Like she is in it for the artistic ability of making music that she likes and would listen to herself, as someone that is a tastemaker for, like, quite literally a whole generation. She's going to be really good. Sure, it's not as good as like Sour, which that also is a generational record in my opinion, even though that's a debut record. I just think down the road she is going to do something pretty special.
I mean, Olivia Rodrigo is like in my opinion, like a generational talent. So like,
I totally
it's hard
agree
to even match up with that. So
it's hard to compare them.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain is like right now it's really tough because like Chapel Roan's debut album, like it's the same thing.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean? Like
there's so much great.
We've got so many great female pop artists right now that have punched into the scene in like the most dramatic way, and it's just really tough. I think it's just a really competitive field, and it's really hard. But you know, Charlie didn't necessarily punch her way through in that same regard. Like she didn't really have any bad albums, I wouldn't say, but like, you know, she kind of crept onto the scene a little bit more than these others. So it's possible. And I think the potential's there for sure. And I didn't dislike the album by any means at all. I do think it was a really fun vibe.
And it at least has a direction too. Like she knows that she fits more into that electronic pop genre, which there's only a few artists that do it well, and I think she eventually is going to get there. Maybe she's not there yet, but the album has some good vibes. It's fun to listen to this summer, and I'd recommend it if anyone hasn't listened to it yet.
Yeah, totally.
So I'll just do two here real quick. So Jane Remover, Revenge Seekers, just one of the most chaotic, wild albums I've heard this year.
Even more than Perverts by Ethel Cain.
That is more like haunting, I feel like.
Yeah, it's true.
That is more like creepy haunting. This just goes hard. Like this is just in your face, loud as fuck, hard, wild energy, cool mixes of like I guess it's like digicore. I guess that's kind of the genre, like electronic hip hop mix. Really funny standout lines throughout, catchy too. It's just high energy and a super addicting record for me. Love that one. And then we did kind of mention Bon Iver, Sable Fable already, but that is, in my opinion, Justin's, I would say, his second best record. His best, right there with the debut. Not as good as the debut, but I think it's his best since his debut album. And yeah, just super soulful, and the lyrics are just like we were saying before. It's just super hopeful, and it seems like he's at peace. So yeah, love that one a lot.
I think all three of us, we agree that it's one of the best of the year for sure.
Yeah, huge record. Did not disappoint. That was one I was nervous for. I was like, I don't know, like I guess nervous just in the sense that I knew he was going in a different direction, and like I don't know. I obviously he's one of my favorite artists.
I was actually, because I thought it was going to be a full-on folk record again, honestly, because the EP was attached to the beginning part of the album, and that EP that came out last year, it's folk, but the actual core record is just like soulful.
Yeah, but they were pushing the folk vibe. Like I got a press release from them, and they're like, oh, Bon Iver's going back to
His folk
the
roots.
sound
Yeah.
that everybody loves. Like he's going back to
Yeah.
his original folk
Weird.
sound. And then when I listened to the record, I was like,
Yeah.
Nah.
why didn't
There's
they
some
push
soul.
this?
It's more
Yeah.
soul and like there's some like gospel elements too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It's
for
really
sure.
cool. It's Bon Iver touching grass, going outside, as the kids would say. And it's a good vibe. I
Yeah.
really like it.
Hey,
One
yeah,
other
that's
album
good.
that I'll mention that I didn't even have prepared. It's just an album that surprised me.
Mm.
Did you guys listen to the new Haim record?
I did.
It's kind of good. Like way better than I thought it would be.
When I first listened to it, I was like, I'm not really feeling this as much as their last record. But I listened again a few times and more songs stuck out. I think it's a good effort. It's definitely not as good as their last record, but there's a lot of great tracks on it for sure.
There's like a few tracks. There's probably 3 tracks that I like really, really enjoyed more than I thought I would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, just a quick shout.
Yeah, no, that's good. A couple albums that I have. I don't know if I would say these are best. I would say they're my favorite, especially in terms of like re-listenability. But I have been bumping the Viagra Boys
nice.
nonstop. Like I just think the energy on that album, it's so fun. It's really unique. Production is great. It ticks all the boxes. Super weird, like lyrically,
Yes, the
really
lyrics on there are
strange
so
stuff.
strange. Yeah.
So strange.
Like the
That's what
I
makes
just
it good, though.
I just subscribed to your mom's OnlyFans.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and what was the line after that? It was like something like paying to see her floppy bitties or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
insane.
yeah, so wild. Like honestly, do you guys know the like YouTube channel? Is it called Meat Cannon or Canyon or something like that?
Yes.
Like super weird.
So weird.
Like
So
that's what
weird.
I imagine these guys. I'm just like
That's
this
a funny
album
comparison.
fits with that like vibe. But I've been listening to that a ton. And then the other one is Samia's Bloodless. I know that that's not necessarily like I know it's not necessarily like it would be like best album, but I just find that there's just so many memorable hooky elements to that whole record. It's got like a really interesting vibe for the summer for me. I've been listening to it just constantly.
Okay.
Not
I have heard this record. I was
nonstop.
like, I wasn't sure at first, but I did hear this record. It was solid.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot. Yeah, anyway, those are two that I've been listening to constantly, other than like some of the ones that you guys mentioned. But yeah, I would say those are two that I would add to the conversation.
I'll just add the few. I'll just lightly go over some of the other ones I
Yeah.
had. Back X Wash Backwash. Only Dust Remains. Lyrically, one of the heaviest and darkest albums of the year. It's she kind of mixes hip hop with like punk, and there's a lot of cool like synth work in there. But lyrically, it is a gut punch, man. But towards the end, it does feel like there's a little bit of hope there, so that's good. But yeah, dark record, but also really beautiful record.
Yeah, I like that one. I listened to that a lot actually.
We briefly mentioned Mac Miller Balloonerism. But you know, it's rare you get good posthumous records, and I think that was his estate has done a really good job of honoring his legacy the right way. The Bad Bunny record that came out earlier in the year was, I think, remains his best album and one of the best Latin albums of the year. Just a really nice nod to his home of Puerto Rico and the sounds that album kind of embraces.
Yeah.
And then Little Sim's Lotus that came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
which lyrically
super
I think
solid.
is like her most personal record. And if you know anything about that, if you listen to that record and you know a little about what's going on with like Sims personally, she's in an ongoing legal battle with her ex-producer Inflow for stealing like millions of dollars from her, and she expresses her feelings and how that affected her a lot on the record. So it's a personal one. It's also like her most versatile, I'd say.
Yeah,
and to me, I just think it's another phenomenal album. Like that's 4 really great albums in a row. And like I'm starting to think she might be the greatest. I think she's the greatest UK rapper to ever do it. I'm saying it.
Yeah, that's valid actually.
Definitely in that conversation for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, that was a really solid record. One that I forgot about was I think it's called it's the Billy Woods record. Gollywog.
Yeah,
I really like
it's
that
a
one.
slur. So the name of the album is a slur. So don't make sure not to say it. But that was a good album. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nice.
liked the work specifically with Kenny Siegel.
Yeah.
On that record, really cool.
It was like a horrorcore album. It was, and the lyrics are like also very they're heavy too. So it fit well with like the lyrical themes of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Those are all like some pretty crazy records overall so far in 2025. How do you feel like it's shaping up for like a year of music? Like, do you feel like it's been a good year?
Yeah, I feel like the mainstream it has been a little bit hit or miss. The weekend album we didn't mention. I thought that was good. We did mention we didn't really mention the Gaga record. I thought the Gaga record was solid.
Yeah.
Mainstream not as strong. We'll see what happens, but overall, if you look hard enough, there's always going to be great stuff in the mix. So
every year
it's a solid year. I mean, last year was like a special year all around. So I wasn't expecting going into it to top that year. But yeah, also I didn't mention the Twigs record. I do want to shout out FKA Twigs because she does have one of the better pop albums of the year too.
And Northwest feature of the year.
True.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. Nice. All right, well let's go and end this off. We're getting up there in some time. I knew this was going to go long, but it's good. Let's get at some projected albums or anticipated albums for the rest of 2025.
How'd you go first, Honeybee?
One that I'm sure we all are. When's this episode going to come out? Because the Clipse album comes out July 11th. It might be out already by the time this.
That's
podcast.
true.
That was number one on my list.
Yeah, I'm sure we're all really excited.
Coming out. It's coming out next Thursday, so it'll be right before the 10th. Wow. It'll be out on the 10th.
Well, yeah. If you are hearing this,
out then, yeah.
If you're
we're about to listen to it,
you have like 6 hours
to tonight.
Anticipate.
That's right.
Yeah. It's gonna be.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
I can't really think of like a rap album. I haven't been this excited for a rap record probably since like Kendrick. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, probably. Like, I am so the singles were just so fire. It doesn't sound like. I mean, Pusha for me personally is like one of my favorite rappers ever. But Malice doesn't sound like he lost a step either. And these Pharrell beats, and listen, I've been skeptical on Pharrell for a while, but like he's definitely beating the Wash allegations with some of these singles for this Clipse album. Man, like he sounds like he's in prime form.
He did pretty good on the other Push album.
True, that is true. Actually,
the whatever 6 songs, or whatever he did there.
Yeah.
But I agree. Malice sounds like he has something to prove. Like, he wants to show everybody that he's still got it, which is cool to hear.
Yeah, I mean that's up there for me. Quadeca, Vanisher, the singles for that album have been phenomenal. Some of my favorite songs of the year. With Quadeca, it's really hard to predict what direction he's going to go for, because he blends so many different genres into his music. But I don't know, this album, it's sounding really pretty. And he's 3 for 3 on singles. I loved his mixtape project thing that he dropped last year, Scrapyard. So I don't know, this sounds like it's going to be some good stuff based off the singles.
One album that I forgot to mention I was a little disappointed with that Quadeca had a hand in was the new Kevin Abstract record.
Oh, Kevin Abstract.
What did you think?
I mean, it didn't really feel like a solo Kevin Abstract album. It did feel more like a collaborative effort.
It definitely was, yeah.
It was a bit of a mess. It was a bit of a mess, but I will say my favorite songs on there, all the ones Quadeca did. Like Quadeca's solo song on there is really so beautiful. Like, my God, it just made me even more hyped for this album.
Yeah. One other album that I'm really excited that has a date is the new Big Thief album, Double Infinity. September 5th. Right? Yep. That's going to be really good. I mean, of course it's going to be good.
I mean, Adrian Lanker just like one of the greatest songwriters alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Jid dropping. I think he's actually dropping
tonight.
He's dropping like a mixtape or something tonight. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know I don't know if that's gonna be like a SoundCloud thing. It seems like it's gonna be like a mixtape, kind of like a Wayne thing, where he's like rapping over some classic beats and stuff like that, which is I think is sick, because I do feel like the promo of that album has been a bit like he dropped the single Work, which I liked. It was a banger, but that was like months on months ago, and then like we haven't gotten anything else. But it seems like we're starting to pick things up, which I'm enjoying. But I mean, he had my album of the year in like 2022, so
Yeah, but since
yeah,
then
I'm excited for
he's
that.
been kind of quiet. I agree.
Yeah.
Like he needed something like this to really just get us excited
And
again.
he did just have that really good feature on that Offset song too. So like he's getting some momentum for sure.
The only problem is it was on an Offset song.
Yeah, but one of the better Offset songs in a while. And I do not like Offset, but
It was
I
pretty
don't
good.
like solo Offset. But
Yeah.
it was the more. It seems like Jid brought the better out of him.
Yeah, I agree.
But besides the bodies hit the floor sample, I don't know why that was on that song.
Oh, that I can't get over that.
Like it just didn't need to be there. Like the song would have been. It was fine without it. Just it's in there.
It kind of. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of ruins it for me. It's like
that's fair.
It's like a
that's
deal
fair.
breaker.
That's fair.
One album that may not end up releasing is a new LCD Soundsystem album.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
So James Murphy, when X-Ray Eyes came out,
yes,
was that the end of last year?
It was the end of last year. Yeah.
He said, like people were speculating that it was an album, and James Murphy said that it is the first single of what's shaping up to be a new album. So like, there's no commitment there, but there is plenty of hope.
All right, my next one I got is Frank Ocean. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, man. I'm not that original. Leve.
Yeah.
Excited for the new Leve. Loved her last record a lot, and it sounds like she's getting even better. And love her jazzy sound. Maruha. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I don't think so.
If you like Black Country New Road and like Black MIDI, I think you'll really enjoy them. They're like super experimental rock. Crazy horn work. And the first single they put out this was like really dope and politically driven. I think when you're gonna know that album when it comes out, because that is going to be guarantee it right now, like top of like the Rate Your Music album of the year charts.
Oh, I see. Pain to Power, September 12th.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. A few rapid fire quick hitters that I'm sure probably will be good. Wet Leg, Indigo D'Souza, Nourished by Time, Alchemist, and Erykah Badu.
Nurse in Time has an album on the way?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, nice. So
I like the 9 to 5 single a lot.
Yeah, me too. Those are kind of the ones that I'm
be honest with you, after that whole like Erykah Badu Alchemist thing, the single I thought was like not great. And then that whole AI art thing and like Alchemist kind of losing on Twitter kind of made me lose interest. And I was pretty excited for it, but
it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. But I did like the single, and I'm more excited for the Erykah Badu half of things, just because
it's been so long.
And we don't get much music from her. So like that's mostly what I'm excited for. And I know the Alchemist is gonna sound good. But yeah, it was kind of a weird thing that he did.
Yeah, kind of crashed down Twitter. And I also Ethel Cain, who she put out that EP that was really good, but now it seems like she's actually putting out like a singer-songwriter record on Full here. The singles have been fantastic, so I'm pretty hyped for the Ethel Cain.
Any of the Sabrina Carpenter's coming out with a new album?
Yeah, I mean, I'm intrigued. I wasn't crazy about the single, so like, I don't know. And it is very soon, I think, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be one of the biggest records of the year regardless, so I will be there. But
and guess who produced it?
Jack Antonoff did the whole thing.
I think the whole thing. I remember reading an article that Sabrina was like working on some new music, and she met up with Jack, and she wasn't anticipating releasing an album so soon after her previous one, but she's like, we just made a bunch of songs that we like, so we're gonna put them out.
All right, so this is make or break for me for Jack. Then
okay, well,
there you go.
If this is bad, if his production on this week, I'm like, okay, maybe people were right. I can't really defend you anymore.
We'll see, but I am excited for it. Like, I'll listen to it. Like Mike said, I'm sure there's going to be at least 1 or 2 songs that I really like, and probably some I kind of like, and some that I don't like.
Yeah. We've also
My wife
got
will like all of them.
Nice, yes, all of them. We've also got Amare is coming out with.
Yes, God,
cool! I didn't know that.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, August. The single for that was fire. It's like she's going like intergalactic synth heavy with like the vibe she was going for on her last record. Seems like she's up in the notch. So hell yeah, excited for that album.
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if anybody's like a Mac DeMarco fan. I know he's got like a huge cult following.
Did see that. I've never been like the biggest Mac DeMarco fan, but
Me neither. But I'm excited for new music because didn't he like try and retire a couple years ago?
did he?
Like,
I don't know.
something I don't remember.
I remember
There
the
was
last thing I
something
heard from
going
him was like that 50 song thing he put out, or maybe even
That-
more songs than that.
That was sick. I really liked
yeah,
that. Actually,
that was so crazy.
thought
I
it was
couldn't.
cool.
I just how long was it? It was like 4 hours long. I couldn't do it.
It was long.
It was longer than
Yeah.
that, wasn't it?
I
It
think
might
it was
have been.
longer.
And I wasn't 50.
yeah.
Wasn't it 100 tracks? I thought it was like
yeah,
a
it might have
straight
been.
100.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah.
It was wild.
But I just thought that was like a cool idea of him to be like, I got all these songs that are like mostly finished. I'm just gonna put them out.
Yeah.
And I had a long work day that day, so I literally just put it on front to back, and it took the
That's
entire
amazing.
work day. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like I've never done
Yeah.
something like that before. Like the closest thing was when I did a Star Wars marathon at the movie theater when Episode 7 came out. Watched all of them.
That's sick.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is the Mac DeMarco equivalent.
yeah. Your
was
guys'
fun.
best friend, Alex Warren, is coming out with a new album soon, isn't he?
Oh wow. Okay, that's gonna be a good content thing for me.
yeah,
I'm
there you
say
go.
that.
I probably won't listen to that.
I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's
Mike
fully
forces
confirmed.
himself to listen to the garbage.
There's some stuff that I will skip out on, but like
Yeah.
Alex Warren's like kind of a name I think can get some traction. so
Well,
I'll
you
probably
have
react
you
to that.
have to for content's sake. Like you know
Yes.
that it's gonna be good that way for
Yeah.
sure. Renee Rapp. I don't know if anybody is like into that.
I never
Jonas
have
Brothers.
gotten into her.
Jonas Brothers.
Jonas
Maroon
Brothers, I'm not-
5.
Not about no. Maroon 5 maybe for content, but Jonas Brothers. I thought the Jonas Brothers album came out already.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah,
I
maybe
think
not.
it was
I don't
just
know.
Joe.
No.
I think
Oh,
Joe
Joe.
released
Okay,
an
yes,
album.
Joe. Okay, yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Joe, Mike, you didn't like the other Joe album, DJO, the
Oh yeah,
the dude
Joe,
from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't.
I
I
kind of
didn't.
did. I thought it was kind of fun. Like had some Beatles influence at times, and
Yeah, to me it was like heavy Strokes influence too.
yeah,
Mm.
which
Um,
I love the Beatles and I love the Strokes. So for me, I was like, it's kind of fun.
Not fair. To me, I'm just like I'm gonna go listen to the Strokes.
That is very valid. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's what I do too. So
Yeah. I don't think there's. Oh, I guess Cardi B, right?
Oh yeah,
Maybe.
really,
God, it's just like here's the thing about Cardi B is, I just feel like when she first came out, she was like a breath of fresh air because other than Nicki, it felt like something new. There was a woman in hip hop that was like doing her thing, and it wasn't Nicki. And
Yeah.
since then, we just had so many big names and so many big
Yeah.
names in hip hop that are women and killing it. Where it feels like right now there's just more interesting people that are in her lane that I'd rather listen to, like a Doechii, like a Lotto,
Yeah.
Sexy Red, there's more interesting things going on. I think for the time she was out, she was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. It's just been so long.
you're
And
absolutely right.
the lead single was mid as hell.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
difference
that was
is like Doechii is so versatile. I don't think Cardi B has that same versatility that even like a Lotto has. Like Lotto she can rap,
Yeah,
but she
no.
can also like
I mean, to be fair,
She can
her
low-key
debut
sing.
album did have it had like that big Latin song with Bad Bunny. It had some pop crossover, and it had like
Yeah.
more hip hop bangers. So
yeah,
I don't
but
know.
even her part on the Bad Bunny song, like it's the same. Like it just had a Latin beat and a Bad Bunny feature.
It was still like one of the
But
biggest.
that song's
it was
a
probably-
banger. Like I
yeah,
love
it's
that
one of the
song.
biggest
Like,
songs on that record too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I'm not speaking bad about that song. I'm just saying.
And also, she just doesn't really have like the lyric. I mean, I'm not sure if she even writes most of her stuff, but she doesn't really have the talent musically that like Doechii and like even like a Lotto rapping wise does.
I wonder if we're gonna get some diss tracks from her.
She's definitely gonna be talking shit, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be fun.
Did you guys see that WAP is on the album? And I love WAP. I think that's a great track. But I'm why is a 5+-year-old song on your record? Well, I mean, I guess the thing that worries me that I get why it's on there for money and streams, but like to me,
Yeah.
that takes the artistic value away from it. Like you
Yeah,
care more
totally.
about you care more about the numbers than you do, the actual the art of the record. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Mike
Well, I
T
think
spitting
that's-
straight facts today.
That's right. That's right. I think that's pretty much it. I'm like looking through just some of these basic lists. I don't think there's like anything else other than like, the typical like so and so might release like ASAP Rocky. Like you're like, yeah, right. Or Chance the Rapper might release.
Well,
It's like,
Chance
yeah,
is
right.
rumored to be dropping like soon.
He confirmed it, right?
Yeah,
I think on his
and he
Instagram.
did just
last
drop
week.
the single yesterday with Smino and Lil Wayne, which
That should have been better.
At this point, I just feel like he took too long, man. I don't really think it matters what he puts out, even if it's like it's gonna have to be amazing top tier rap record for people to really care.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be. It's just gonna be an average record. It's not gonna be bad. Like it's definitely not gonna be as bad as The Big Day, but it's not gonna be good either. It's just gonna be like kind of like we're talking about with the Drake and Party Next Door album, where it's just gonna be like, okay, at least Chance put something out, like, and there's probably gonna be a couple songs that we enjoy, but I don't predict as a whole we're really gonna talk about it all that much. Although I did like the previous singles, I've enjoyed most of them.
Yeah, I like some of them. I thought some of them were just like him. It seemed like he was playing it safe, and I do fear that because of the reception of The Big Day, he will tend to play it safe. Yeah, which could hurt the record, but we'll see.
That's the most likely scenario in my opinion.
Man, well, we'll see if he actually comes out and drop. You said that he's confirmed it. Does he have a date on it?
I'm pretty sure
he said it's coming out this month, like at a festival the other day. But he also said that last year that it was going to come out in like the fall or something. It didn't.
It's true.
So,
yeah,
but he does have the single that came out today, so that is hope.
Well, also, Jake, isn't Bully supposed to be coming out like really soon? Kanye's like magnum opus.
I have no idea.
Don't care.
I might not listen to it.
Oh, like, I'm definitely
even if it does.
I'm not listening to it. That's for damn sure. You couldn't even pay me to listen to it.
Really?
I definitely not even could get paid to listen to it. I could get paid.
I just think it's. I can't cover him. Like in my own morals, I just couldn't do it.
And it's not going to be good anyway.
And that's another thing. It's everything he's done in the past 2 years has been horrendous. So
don't
even bother.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, gentlemen, I feel like this is the end. This is the end for us. We have recapped.
We chatted your ears off today.
We've done our mid-year review here. It's been exhaustive and it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming back on. Appreciate it. We will see if there's any other amazing records that come out. I'm sure there are that will kind of make our lists for December time. But it's always interesting mid-year to see, what else is dropping, because you really don't have November and December are non-players in terms of music releases. Like you really don't get much. So like half the year really isn't. It should be 5 months in instead of 6 months in, because those last 2 months there's really not a whole lot that goes on. But anyway, awesome. Well, this was a lot of fun.
We should definitely do it for the end of the year too.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun
to reconvene, see how our lists look. If
that's true,
any of the albums we've been listening to have kind of fallen off, or if any have surprised us, that'd be fun.
We gotta see if Addison Rae is still on your list.
We'll see.
I'd be shocked if it was. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah, now just out of spite, it's going to be on there. Number one.
I hope it's like you do a 180 on it, and then we'll be here, be like, "We told you so. We told you so."
Hey, that could happen, and I'm not too prideful to admit when I'm wrong. Like, if my opinion changes, you guys will know.
Oh gosh, awesome. Well, for all you guys listening, if you want to follow Honeybee Reviews, you're on TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube. And Mike T, the real Mike T, right? Is that where you mostly are?
Real Mike T on TikTok, but everything else it's Mike T, Twitch,
nice,
Instagram, all that.
Yeah, you're doing the Twitch stuff, which is awesome. Yep. I wish I could have the mental capacity to do that. It'd be a lot of fun, but yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad you guys came on, and tune in next time, listeners, for a new episode and a new guest. Alrighty, see you later.
Later.